Hello friends and welcome back to Cosmere Catchup. In today's episode I'm going to be discussing The Way of Kings, and I read The Sixth of Dusk, the little novella inside the Arcanum Unbounded. Let's discuss both my spoiler-free and my spoiler reviews. First, to give my spoiler-free review of The Way of Kings, this book, if you don't know, is the first book in the Stormlight Archive. This book is basically an exploration of what are the consequences of a king dying and like what happens to people. I don't really know how to explain this. Like, basically, we follow four main POVs. We follow Seth, son Villano. He is an assassin who was hired to kill somebody. We follow Shalon, and her father just recently died, and she is trying to become the the assistant essentially to this woman named Josna, who's actually the daughter of the king, and the brother of the new king, and she is trying to steal something from Josna, and she really wants to work with her, and so we follow her POV. And then we follow Kaladin. He is a ex-military turned slave. We follow his journey through like what it means to be a slave in this world. This book is so heavy. I'm like, my arms are falling asleep. And then we follow I forgot the last guy's name all of a sudden. How did I do that? Dalinar. Duh. We follow Dalinar. He is a current knight, and he is the brother of the since passed away king. We follow him as he leads this military, and his son as they lead this military through it's called the Shattered Plains. It's like where they are fighting with the Parshendi. They are a group of people who had murdered the king, or so they think. And yeah, basically this book is the setup to the series. I'm like trying to think what happens in here like without spoilers. It's like really hard because I feel like the premise of this book like almost doesn't make sense unless discussing spoilers. Like basically we follow all four of them, and they are trying to discover who murdered the king. Like they're trying to figure out just like their own personal struggles. Like Kaladin is trying to figure out what life means without being a soldier. Like that's what he's wanted his whole life, and now he's a slave. Dalinar is like slowly kind of becoming insane, and he's trying to figure out like why he's getting all these weird visions. It's just super good. It's super compelling. I loved it. My spoiler-free rating is a 5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was phenomenal. Obviously, I capped like literally so much. My book doesn't even close right anymore, but yeah, there's just so much about this book that like is literally crazy deep, and there were a lot of Cosmere connections. I had so much fun seeing stuff that I feel like I wouldn't have seen if I wouldn't have read anything else in the Cosmere. So had a lot of fun with that. And to discuss the Sixth of Dusk spoiler free, it's kind of hard because this was like literally only a 60-page novella, I think, but basically we follow this guy. His name is Sixth of the Dusk, like that's literally his name, and he is on this journey. He has like a pet bird, and the world uses these birds for magic kind of, and he is one of the people that is trying to like protect and save the birds. And it is like a little novella about him and like just his story basically. And it's crazy because this novella, for only being like 60 pages or whatever, is so complex and so thought out, and had so many like Cosmere connections that I personally saw, even though technically, at least until Isles of the Emberdark, which is now released, but originally this was just going to be a what are those things called? A novella. Like what? This book was crazy? And you're telling me it was that thought out and that thorough, and it was just going to be the novella? Because to me, this was the perfect setup to like a really rich story, and I'm super excited to read Isles of the Emberdark now, because I can't imagine reading this and just poof, it's done. The frick, Brandon? But yeah, anywho, read Six of Dusk. I think I rated it a 4-star on Goodreads. It was really, really good and really entertaining, like I said, especially for how short it was. And especially considering it was supposed to just be a little standalone thought he had. Like, that's crazy to me how, like, good and full of a story this was for what it was. But yeah, can't really talk about it too much because since it's so short, anything else I'd say I feel like would just give away the whole plot. But basically, the guy, his bird, and a stranger go on a little adventure. I guess the vibes were very similar to, I want to say stuff like Nim's Island, like that kind of old movie, like where they're on an island and they're kind of the only people on this island, and then people come and stuff goes wrong because the people show up. That's about all I can say. There's another story that like it's reminding me of, but my pea brain can't think of that right now. But anywho, those are my spoiler-free discussions. If you have not read either of these stories, or you are not caught up in the Cosmere, at least to the point that I'm caught up to, I would recommend clicking away now. I am so thankful you joined me, but let's go ahead and get into the spoilers. Okay, so The Way of Kings, this story is literally crazy. Like, I'm sorry, but there were so many times that I was just like, the frick. Let's think. Some of the last time I updated was right before I began part 2. I'm trying to remember what happens in part 2, to be honest. I tabbed literally so much. I should have prepared notes, I guess, or something, but I didn't, so here we are. Let's see. Some standout moments. Firstly, the first thing I can think of, like the literal scene I remember the best off the top of my head, is whenever Dalinar is like presenting himself to Sadeas after he gets betrayed, and he just gives up his sword. Or shard blade, I guess. But like, that scene was crazy. You know what else was crazy? Kaladin. His whole arc. Literally all of it. He, from the beginning, I knew was like there was more to him than meets the eye. But his whole character progression, where he goes from like kind of weak slave to like literally leading the whole army, essentially, I was like, oh my god. Talk about whiplash. Oh, speaking of Kaladin, when he awoke to his powers, is he a Windrunner? Whichever order he's in, when he like said their oath, I was like, that part gave me like literal chills. I was screaming. Also, when Shallan started to see patterns for the first time, that was crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh, and then when they realized that Jasna wasn't using her thing the whole time, I forgot what they were called. It was actually that she had powers. Hold up. I mean, like, it made sense because she was able to do some stuff that other people weren't able to do with their, I forgot what those things are called, the thing Shallan was trying to steal. But, like, it was literally crazy. Because, what do you mean? What do you mean she just did magic? Oh, also the chapter where they revealed how Kaladin got his, like, he had become a slave because he had the shard plate, and then the guy was like, nah dude, just gonna kill ya or take your shard and, you know, put you in jail. That was crazy. I should have taken better notes. I really don't know what I was gonna say. The last 100 pages obviously were bonkers. I literally wrote holy cow. Well, I wrote a word worse than cow during the part, like I said, where Dalinar is giving up his things, his shards. I thought that was literally crazy. Speaking of crazy, I literally wrote, I'm screaming. This is the part where Shallan like realizes that the Parshendi are the Voidbringers. I did not see that coming. That is literally crazy. I can't. I literally can't. Yeah, I feel like I cannot think a coherent thought at all. The only thing I know is this book left me shook. I was screaming. I had so many theories. Half of them were correct if you saw my part 1. I was correct about Shallan having some sort of magic, and I was also correct about her killing her father. But even that, when it was revealed, was crazy to me. I knew it was coming, and I was still shook. Let's see what else. I was not correct, at least it hasn't been confirmed yet, about Shallan and Kaladin knowing each other, but they haven't crossed paths yet, so I feel like there's still a chance that that could get revealed in Words of Radiance. I think those are my 2 biggest theories, but I don't remember. I literally watched my part 1 video like an hour ago and I already forgot. But yeah, guys, this book was so good. I'm starting to see quite a few Cosmere connections and remembering some crazy things. Also, Kaladin and Wit's interaction, iconic. I guess Hoyd, Wit, I don't know. He's both. That was crazy. There were a couple lines in there that were really good. Oh, and then the reveal that one guy, the like king, whatever his name is, it starts with a T, is the one that hired Seth, and he wants him to now go kill Dalinar. I know that's going to be a really big scene in Words of Radiance. I can feel it. And you know what? Since Kaladin is his protector, I bet they fight. And I bet it's epic. And I bet Kaladin wins. Also, speaking of Kaladin, to go back to him, the reveal that what's her butt? What is her name? The little windspin girl who's not a windspin. Syl! The fact that she isn't a windspin, but she said she was like an honor spin or whatever. That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, I knew she was different, but I do feel like there was something about her reveal that I was just like, whoa. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I didn't say a complete thought or a coherent sentence in this wrap up, but my mind, I will admit, I finished this about a week and a half ago or more now. I probably should have recorded my reactions like day of and just did the dang thing, but I didn't. And like I said, it's been kind of a while, so not my hype has died down, but like my thoughts have left. Like for 48 hours after finishing this, I wasn't in the right headspace to record a video about it because there were so many thoughts and I had so many theories and I was screaming that I didn't think it was the right time. But now that it's been so long, it's also not the right time because I don't remember anything while simultaneously remembering everything because this book was phenomenal. But I feel like I remember almost too much. Yeah, I'll be back. Let me go do some research. BRB. Okay, I've remembered some other things I wanted to talk about. Casbal, how do you say his name, being a spy, like only there to kill Shallan. I did not see that coming. I was literally flabbergasted. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I was in complete shock. Also, when Adolin showed up in Cal's chapter, I was screaming about that too, because that was so exciting to me. Also, I thought of a Cosmere theory that I have going into Words of Radiance, okay? I kind of think that Sadeas and the king, the one who hired Seth, are working together. Or like that the king also hired Sadeas, because there was a part where the king near the end, he's like talking to Seth. He shows him the like camp of dead bodies or whatever, or like the hospital or whatever it is. And Sadeas is also looking for dead bodies. They talk about that's the reason he has all these bridgemen, and that's why he doesn't care if they die, because he needs the dead bodies. I really think that they are working together and they're like trying to do the same thing. I don't know why. I don't know like what. At least I don't think they've talked about it. If they did, I've forgotten. But I don't know what they're trying to do with the dead bodies. I don't know anything like that. But I do really genuinely think that they are in it together. So that's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, another Cosmere connection that I caught. They mention a group of, I want to say they're assassins, Kaladin does, of the group's name is the Ghost Bloods. That is literally the like title for the third Mistborn act, whatever you want to call it. I don't think they are connected, It could just be a coincidence, but the fact that they're both ghost bloods and they both are like, at least from what I know about Mistborn Era 3, I haven't even read Mistborn Era 2 yet, so I don't know a ton. But from what I know, they're both kind of like assassin-y people, so I'm like, is this some like major crossover right now? Because I wouldn't put it past Brandon, you know what I'm saying? Okay, also, does Shallan have a shard sword? Shard blade? Because there was a chapter of hers where she mentions counting to 10, like the 10 heartbeats. And that is something that's like strictly been used so far to discuss shard bearers summoning their blade. I wish I could remember exactly the like part that she does this, but she does it. And I remember thinking, no, wait a second. That's odd. Especially, oh my god, I just thought of something. Especially because she has that memory of her standing over her father with the blade. What if that blade was a shard blade? Because we know there's 10 in existence, right? And we know of at least like 4 bearers, I think. Because we know of Dalinar, the king, Adolin, the guy that Dalinar fights. Which, by the way, another crazy scene. That scene was crazy. Kaladin like swooping in and helping them. Jesus, that was crazy. Oh, and obviously the guide that Kaladin had. I feel like we know of a couple others that I'm just like completely blanking on. Oh, Sadeas, I think. Or no, it was a big deal that Sadeas didn't have it, and that's why Dalinar gave his up. Okay, yeah. It's coming back to me. It's coming back. So we know of at least 6 people, I think. So yeah, it could check out that Shallan has a blade. Oh, and Seth, duh. So that's 7. But that would make her 8, which that could work. I'm cooking something here. I can feel it. Also, to discuss the interludes for a moment, Seth's POVs were crazy, obviously, and I think I know who a couple of the other interludes are. There was a person named Daxel or something like that. They're in the second or third interlude portions, and the chapter is about them talking to this lady, and they're like robbing these houses and like trying to do all this sneaky spy stuff. And I really genuinely think that the lady that hired them is Vivenna from Warbreaker, because in Warbreaker, that is like something she does. She breaks into these houses and like steals all this stuff. And there's something else that he mentioned, something that like just screamed Vivenna. I can't remember what it was, but there was something about that specific interlude chapter that I was like, yes, I genuinely think that this lady is Vivenna, which would be crazy because she seems like she's kind of a big player in the Roshar universe. Also, this one might be like self-explanatory or already explained, or just, you know, something that I didn't catch up on. But I think that the thrill that Dalinar explains when he's fighting, and I believe Adolin explained having it too, and maybe Sadeas, a couple of them, I believe that that is another type of magic. The way Kaladin is a windrunner or whatever he was, I think that Dalinar might be another one. Like how there's like the 10 orders or whatever, the 10 radiance. I took the quiz online, okay? I know for a fact I'm a light weaver, according to Brandon Sanderson himself, so I'm like Shallan. Girlies, rise up. But I think that Dalinar is another one, and I think that the thrill is like his version of the magic, like how Shallan has like the pictures and the memories and all that, and how Kaladin, he just kind of like doesn't die. I think that the thrill is a third type of that. I think. Another thing I caught, I think that Navani's eye color changed every time Dalinar talked about her, which is odd. And I know that eye color is a really big thing in the Stormlight Archive world. So the fact that her eye color description changed every single time he is talking about her, something is going on there. I want to trust her, but the way she is acting is so bizarre. And her eyes, like, I don't know. Also, another character that I am suspicious of is Moash. Is that how you say his name? Moash? It is odd to me that of all of the Bridge 4 characters, like the people in that team, he is so good at fighting, and I feel like in this world, people that are abnormally good at something are usually hiding something, like they have some sort of past, and it is making me a little scared. Also, I know that in the Brandon Sanderson universe discussion, people always say justice for Moash and all this stuff. So I'm a little scared about what that means. I, at this current moment, do not have any theories beyond, I think he is kind of suspicious, and I think that he is better at stuff than he lets on. And like I said, that does make me a little scared. I don't know what it means, but I'm scared. Another character, actually another two characters who are oddly good at stuff. Adolin, he is also really good at fighting. And I mean, I guess it could just be the fact that he is Dalinar's son. But I feel like he also has some sort of magic. I kind of touched about this a second ago when I talked about the thrill. But I feel like there is more to Adolin than meets the eye. And that's weird to me. Like, I trust him. And I think he has good instincts. Like, when he didn't trust Sadeas, I wouldn't have either, dude. But I do think it's odd how much talent he holds. And then also Lopin, he is very strange to me. The fact that he has all of these, like, he's always talking about how he knows all these people. Like, considering all of the things he's been through, he is super capable and all of this stuff, and like he just always has the right answer in a way that like is weird to me. I kind of think that there's more to him than meets the eye. If we wouldn't have seen Hoyd in other clips, like other parts of the book, I probably would have thought he was Hoyd. Like, he is almost too helpful. Like, he is like a guardian angel of sorts. And I think there's more to him than what we know right now. Okay, the last big thing I'm going to talk about is Sadeas' betrayal. I knew it was coming. I could sense it. But that still had my freaking jaw on the ground. Like, I just felt such a sense of dread during that portion. It was crazy. And I still feel a sense of dread. And I, like I said, finished this book a week and a half ago. But, anywho, that is kind of a recap of my theories and my thoughts. So far, I think going into Words of Radiance, my favorite character, I want to say, is Shallan, but she's also the one I relate to the most. Like I said, I'm also a light weaver. I think it's light weaver. And obviously she's a female, I'm a female, but I am starting to grow to love every character. I can't remember if I talked about this in my Way of Kings Part 1 update, but I didn't necessarily love everyone in the beginning. Like, I was really confused by Dalinar, and I didn't really care for his POV, but now his POV means literally so much to me. Oh, I didn't even discuss Bridge 4. When I started Part 1, like when I did my first recap, I was like, y'all are crazy for liking Bridge 4. Like, I'm sorry. They have grown on me so much. I love them. I love Rock, especially. I think his character is so funny. But yeah, I do truly care for each and every one of them, except Moash. He, like I said, is a little suspicious. And Lopin. They're just, But I really do care for them. And I see great things for their future. But I'm also scared because of them being Dalinar's protectors. And the Seth thing, like, I just think Words of Radiance, there's a reason it is everyone's favorite. I can feel it. I know some crazy stuff's gonna happen, and I know it's gonna have my jaw on the ground, and I'm gonna scream, and maybe cry, and be shocked, and be excited. But I'm so ready. I'm so hyped. Way of Kings, if y'all are saying that this is the worst of the series, I can't even fathom what the rest of these books are gonna be like, because I was having the literal time of my life reading The Way of Kings. I read the last 500 pages probably in one sitting. I loved it. It was phenomenal. I can't stop thinking about it, even though I also simultaneously forgot everything that happens, but like, that's just kind of the way my brain works. So yeah, just popping in too to say I ordered myself the Troll plushie, and it was like the best decision I've ever made. He's actually so heavy though, but he's so cute. Kind of want to buy him some little bat ears so he can fit in with this is my headphone stand LOL, but so he can fit in with the rest of my spooky decor, just a little bat headband or something. But yeah, got him. I also ordered the Warbreaker box that came with Nightblood, and then I ordered this sheath off of Etsy.
And it also came with a Vivenna character pin. This came with my Etsy order, and then just a couple of other warbreaker goodies. But yeah, I'm really excited with how my decor is coming along.
But yeah, anywho, thank you so much for watching. If I caught anything that you are shocked by, let me know in the comments. If there are things that I missed, maybe leave little hints about it in the comments, and let me know some of your theories and like things you're excited for me to get into with Words of Radiance. I will obviously be updating once I start it and once I read it and all of the good things. But anywho, thank you so much for joining me in this Cosmic Catch Up.